Okay, kia ora, good morning. Welcome to the program. You're with the Editor-in-Chief, and we are live this morning. Good to have your company. Good to see you. Thanks so much for joining in and for watching the program. I'm Duncan Garner. Welcome. We've got lots on this morning. The big news, though. The big news through this morning, American President Joe Biden has pulled out of the presidential race for a second term in the White House. He's pulled the plug. His fading memory and shaky performance is no longer good enough, is it? And he's finally seen what we've all seen for a number of months and for some years, and that he can't beat Trump, can he? So this is all happening this morning. We'll talk to Grace Cocker, who has tracked today's developments and how it all happened, so we'll have a chat to her shortly. Also on the podcast, I called those who steal from supermarkets arrogant, entitled pricks. But the controversial Kiwi called me out, saying that I was wrong and I was the arrogant prick, and it's merely starving Kiwis trying to stay alive. And it's the supermarkets and their tactics and the heinous prices that are forcing Kiwis to shoplift. We are fundamentally on different sides, but he's in the studio with me this morning, and whose side are you on? So we'll have a look at that this morning. And Mahe Drysdale goes from the single skull to running a city. This is the new team of councillors and the Tauranga base. The new mayor of Tauranga will join us shortly as well. Jump on the TikTok, jump on wherever you are. All the details are there on the screen, and leave us a comment. Leave us a comment on YouTube as well. It's news time. Here is MediaWorks Deputy News Editor. It is Grace Cocker. Very good morning.
US President Joe Biden has ended his re-election campaign, sending shockwaves through the political world. The 81-year-old announced on social media he's withdrawing from the race. CNN's Priscilla Alvarez says it plunges the party into uncharted territory.
We really just cannot overstate how remarkable a moment this is. We are on the cusp of the Democratic National Convention, and now so many open-ended questions as to what happens next.
While 9-to-5ers are lining up at the coffee machine this morning, many IT workers are yet to have a weekend. More than 8 million computers were taken out globally in the CrowdStrike failure. MediaWorks tech worker Brad Wright expects it could be a while before everything's back to normal.
We're making workarounds and get everything functional for the Monday workday, but it's going to be a big day on Monday.
Tauranga has elected a mayor, but turnout suggests a lack of interest in local body politics. Former Olympian Mahe Drysdale has been voted in and hopes the new council is engaging.
So I think if we can interact with them and they can see the changes that we can make, hopefully they'll be more interested.
A father in Australia has been killed by a train while trying to rescue his twin daughters. Their double pram rolled onto the tracks at a Sydney station yesterday afternoon. Police say the 40-year-old man went into parent mode to save the 2-year-olds. Only one survived after she landed between the rails. In sport, Adi Savia and Moana Pacifica are being described as a match made in heaven. He signed a 3-year deal from next year. Rugby commentator and proud Samoan Ken Laban says it's a great fit.
I have nothing but the highest regard and respect, firstly for the Moana Pacifica organisation and especially Adi.
In motorsport news with Megan Turbo, it's a beaming Oscar Piastri after his maiden victory at the Hungarian Formula One Grand Prix. The Australian driver's thrilled to have taken out the checkered flag ahead of McLaren teammate Lando Norris.
An amazing day for the whole team, obviously a 1-2 for myself, of course, extremely happy.
American golfer Xander Schauffele's won his second major title, taking out the Open at Royal Troon by 2 shots, and that's news in sport.
All right, thanks, Grace. Controversial Kiwi was with me very shortly. Firstly, Biden. How did it go down this morning? How did the news break?
Yeah, he posted it on X, formerly Twitter, which was quite interesting. And I was in the bathroom and my colleague ran in and screamed at me at the top of her lungs that Biden stepped aside. So it was a very mad panic moment for us both.
It's an interesting way of doing it, isn't it? Just posting on social. I mean, that's what it comes down to. You're the president of the US and you're pulling out of the race for the White House.
Well, that's like Trump's responded now, but he doesn't use any of those platforms. He uses his Truth Social, which is his own platform. Yeah. That has followers, and so he's come out saying Crooked Joe wasn't fit to run as president. He's not fit to currently serve as president. He should end his term early. Yeah. Of course, Biden's thrown his support behind Kamala Harris. We've had heaps of senators come out now, and that would be historic in itself should she win. I mean, not only is she a woman of colour, she's also a woman.
She is, but she's not yet in that hot seat, is she?
No, not yet. So that'll happen around August when they have their Democratic convention. They haven't had that yet. And, of course, we saw in, last week that was where Trump and J.D. Vance were endorsed for.
So Newsom, the California governor, he could put his hand up for this, couldn't he?
There's a few that could. Yeah. I don't know whether they have enough name notoriety at the moment. Kamala's like the VP. Yeah. She knows how things have been running. She knows the ins and outs with all these conflicts that have been going out.
Is she popular?
Well, I just don't know if Americans will vote for a woman, let alone a woman of colour. Yeah. And it's really negative thing to say, but there's a lot of people that I don't think would be supportive of that.
This gets Trump home.
Yeah.
No wonder he's so cocky. The humility after the bullet is gone, isn't it? And the cockiness is back.
Yeah, literally as of, I think, Saturday that came back. So
Yeah, it did. Okay, good stuff. Thanks, Grace.
Duncan Garner.
Okay, nice to have your company, the Controversial Kiwi. A couple of weeks ago, I spoke to the director of stores at Woolworths, Jason Stockwell's his name, about the increase in crime and theft at supermarkets. And I called out those criminals using some pretty colourful language. The guys who go in there and fill their trolleys up. I think I call them arrogant, entitled pricks. People with trolleys full of makeup or chocolate bars, whatever it is. Looks like they're stealing to order in many of these cases. But I was called out big time on social media by a well-known TikToker. He is called the Controversial Kiwi. He said that I'd got it wrong. He used some pretty colourful language in return. He said I was the arrogant prick. Well, I said, let's go on the show then. And he said yes. Now, if you don't know this guy, he's built up a pretty massive following by calling out supermarkets for their high prices, much of that I agree with, actually. And it got me wondering, maybe he had a point. Was I being too harsh, calling those who steal arrogant, entitled pricks? So we've got him on the program. I'm used to getting a bit of shit, so I can deal with a bit of stick. It goes with the territory. So I'm open-minded as well. I want to hear what his side of the story is. The Controversial Kiwi's with us now. G'day. Nice to have you here.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, good on you for fronting up as well.
Yeah, no, not a problem.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I called them, in that here at the moment, the arrogant entitled pricks, the guys that go in there, fill their trolleys up with Whittaker's chocolate bars or makeup, whatever it is. Looks to me like it is to order. And the way they pull their fingers and walk away, I mean, you can't. What's your reaction? You're pretty upset with me.
Well, yeah, it's just the broad statement of arrogant, entitled pricks.
It's a generalisation, isn't it?
It's a generalisation.
Yeah.
So there's no doubt that there are people that are stealing alcohol and things like that. And, yeah, they are arrogant, entitled pricks.
Well, you agree with me?
I agree with that part of it.
Right.
But there are many people that are still struggling.
I totally agree with you on that.
And they shouldn't be in the same category as arrogant, entitled pricks.
Did you see the full video?
No, I didn't see the full video, but I saw enough to look at it and go, you probably should have made it a bit clearer about who you were talking about.
Yeah, that's a fair point. But also, the full video, if you see the full video, there is context around it as well. I'm not sitting here saying that poor people aren't stealing. It's only these prats. A lot of people are, and because they need to, they're struggling. I get that.
Yeah.
There's not an excuse for it, but I understand it. So I get the wider point. And perhaps you just saw the statement as a generalisation when if there was a wider video to it as well that maybe you missed. Yeah,
but you've got to understand why some of these people are doing what they're doing. So my inbox is absolutely chocker of some horror stories, sad stories of people that are really, really struggling. And these people are going into supermarkets, and I'm not condoning stealing. I'm not condoning that at all. But they'll go into a supermarket and they might take some nappies, or they might take some formula, or they might take something like that to actually feed their children. I'm not saying that's right, but they've been put in a position to have to do that.
You can understand it more.
I can understand it 100% more. Somebody walks out with a box of alcohol or whatever it is. Okay, those guys are arrogant pricks. They shouldn't be doing that.
But we've set up the conditions for it to happen.
We have set the conditions up.
Yeah.
Yep. And unfortunately, mainstream media's got a lot to do with that.
In what way?
I do a lot of stats. So if you look at, I'll give you an example. So it's just come out recently that a 0.3% reduction in your average groceries and 16.1% in your fruit and vegetables. Okay. Now, I did a shop on the 22nd of June 2022, so 2 years ago, $182.44 at New World. I did exactly the same shop at exactly the same store on 11th of July 2024, so 2 years later.
Good. Yep.
So this is actually in mainstream media's benefit because I'm giving them an extra year.
Yep.
So that shop came out at $221.53.
So the percentage was?
$39.09 extra.
$39 or 39%?
No, $39.09 extra.
Yep.
Okay, so hasn't gone down by 16.1%.
Yep.
It's gone considerably up.
Of course it has.
Then they talked about vegetables going down by 0.3%.
Yep.
Once again, I did a shop on the 21st of May, 2024, $28.27. I did another shop on the 11th of July, $29.07, so up about $1.
Yeah, so they're cartels, aren't they?
So where are they getting their stats from?
Oh, stats are made to be. Well, your stats are real, right? Because your
My
stats
stats are real.
So your stats are at the supermarket.
My stats
till.
are real.
Yeah, they're at the supermarket till.
Yep.
You can't deny that.
Yep.
Well, you're saying that we should be trusting the supermarkets?
No,
with
I'm
their
not
stats.
saying. No. The supermarkets are price gouging and ripping off like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I've never disagreed with that either.
No, but what I'm saying is that mainstream media are not helping. Mainstream media are making it sound like.
Well, that's a generalisation too, though, isn't it?
Well, it's true. Okay, so Mike Hoskins.
Oh, hey, do not make me responsible for him, mate. Come on. Hey, that's not fair.
I'm going to give you an example. Okay? So Mike Hoskins
Now I'm responsible for him. Okay,
No,
go.
you're not.
Yeah, go.
So on the 8th of May, Mike Hoskins was talking about outstanding growing conditions and flowing down to the consumers, and there was better buying power and all the rest of it. So the 9th of May, I went out and I did a shop. It cost me $21.91. This is this year. 12 days later, on the 21st of May, I returned and I did exactly the same shop at exactly the same store. $25.18, so up $4. So how can they be quoting that there's outstanding growing conditions, flowing down to consumers, and it's gone up in 12 days?
Yeah. Maybe the savings haven't yet been passed on, as Mike might say.
Well, I'd say they haven't been passed on.
They haven't at all. No. But nothing gets cheaper, right?
Well, no, nothing gets cheaper.
You tell me one item that gets cheaper. You must hear some stories from people who can get in touch with you. Some horror stories.
Oh, some shocking stories. I mean, nappies have gone up, formula's gone up. You go in and you look. You say, go into New World, for example, and you look at the club deals. I don't use club cards. I think they're a rort.
Yep.
You go into the.
Why do you go to Pack and Save if you're looking for cheap stuff?
Well, I do all of them.
Yeah,
so I go all three and I do a comparisons.
Right, okay. Yep.
So Pack and Save continuously comes out cheaper.
Oh, it's the best. In terms of price,
Yep.
Easily the best.
Yeah, well, you don't need club cards there either. So what you spend is what you get.
Correct, yeah. They're actually, by a long shot, they're cheaper.
Oh, a long way.
Yeah.
A long way.
Yeah.
Countdown's actually the most expensive supermarket now in New Zealand. It's not even a New Zealand supermarket.
We've got to pay for the rebrand somehow.
Well, we do $400 million, a bit of a kick in the arse, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, I watched the interview with Jason Stockwell, and it pissed me off a little bit.
Yeah.
They talk about losses. He didn't give you the figures.
No, but I take it it's in the hundreds of millions.
No, it's not. It's 10 to 30 million.
10 to 30.
10 to 30 million.
And where do those figures come from?
Okay, now he didn't give you the exact figures because
No.
he can't quantify what that's made up of.
He said tens, didn't he? He said tens to me.
Yeah, but that could be made up of the self-service checkouts, incorrect, putting in the codes incorrectly. It could be wastage, could be direct thefts, could be a lot of things. He didn't give you those figures.
No.
Because he didn't know them.
No. So how does he know it's in the tens then? They don't know.
They don't know.
They've made it up.
That's why they make it up. They don't know.
Yeah. But they know there's a considerable loss.
Well, there's a considerable loss, but you've got to remember that, the profits that they're making as well. Brad Banducci, who's the outgoing CEO, $2.6 million is topped up to $8.4 million. And that consists of short and long-term bonuses, which relates to profit within the supermarket.
Yeah,
Progressive.
Look at the head of Discovery Television.
Yeah.
$260 million US.
Yep.
And they closed down the news hub. So you don't get me started there.
Exactly.
I mean, I think you find that we agree on all of this stuff.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
But does that cost get passed on to the consumer? So the cost of stolen items, does it get passed on?
Well, they're covered under insurance.
Yeah.
So, you could look at it and say, well, they're increasing the prices to cover that, to cover their insurance premiums. But at the end of the day, the costs or the information that we're hearing out there about the economy's coming right and inflation's coming down, it's just simply not true.
You see, I looked at the security and the surveillance that goes on in the supermarkets, and there's a big New Zealand firm that does it called Aura, and
don't get me started on that.
Yeah. Well, we've got you started on that. We'll finish you on this one first.
Yeah.
And so they got involved in. There was a lot of nappies going missing out of a supermarket, so they tracked it. And they ended up tracking it back to someone's house who had a container at the back and he was filling it with nappies to export. That's an arrogant, entitled prick.
100%. But what I'm saying is that you can't put everybody in that category.
Yeah, I think that you thought I was putting everyone in that category. Maybe.
Well, I think everybody thought that.
Well,
read the comments.
Yeah. Well, that's not what I meant.
No, I know, and that's why I wanted to come on and clear it up. It was that there are people struggling in New Zealand.
Oh well, shit! I mean, we know that.
I mean, there's people that message me and they've got two incomes. They're on good income. They struggle to pay their rent. They struggle to pay their mortgage. They can't buy food. They absolutely struggle.
So do you think stealing's justified then?
No, stealing is never justified. I mean, I don't.
So what's your suggestion to them how to get around it?
Well, let's look at the supermarkets for one. Let's start passing those costs back down to the consumer, which is what they're supposed to be doing. Now, they're not doing that. I went and did another shop last week, and I went into New World, And I did that comparison actually that I did there, which I should have mentioned, 221. That was on their red ticket label. So their, what do they call those labels? The best buys or whatever they are?
It's all the puffery and the marketing around it too. I mean, the supermarkets, you don't need them to be as flash as they are.
No.
You don't need them to be the way it's marketed the way it is.
No. No, I mean, you look at club cards, for example. People go and use their club cards. They think they're getting a discount, but it's enticing them into the store to buy more. Now, I've done comparisons with club cards as well, and I've done a shop with a club card in New World.
Do they work?
No, they don't work because I did exactly the same shop at Pack and Save.
I don't do anything because I don't trust them.
No, I did exactly the same shop at Pack and Save, and it was cheaper at Pack and Save with no club card.
With no club card. Well, their club card's a permanent club card. It's just inbuilt in the pricing.
Is this? Yeah.
Yet these are the same companies that own these different stores.
Well, I mean, Foodstuffs obviously own New World and New World, Pack and Save and Foursquare.
So they own the top end and the bottom end.
Yeah, and then obviously Countdown is Progressive, which is Australian owned.
So they're buying the same products, you would think. They have the same buying power, so the same products go into the supermarkets, but one's priced differently to the other.
Well, New World have slightly different buying power because Pack and Save have the buying power of a pallet, whereas New World have a slightly less buying power. So that's why they're increased slightly, but not to the tune of $30 or $40 per shop.
What about security guards who don't have any powers at all? They stand there and they sort of direct the traffic as they're stealing the stuff. They direct them as they go out. What do you think should happen there?
Well, security guards have no power at all.
No.
They have no powers to arrest. They have no powers to detain.
They have no powers at all.
They don't.
They watch. They will have watching, observing powers.
And I would encourage any security guard that's told by a supermarket to detain someone, don't do it. They can be sued for it.
Well, they don't do it.
Well, some of them do. I've seen footage.
Who does it?
Well, I've seen footage on TikTok, for example, where some securities have done it.
Where?
Supermarkets, outside the warehouse.
Well, no, but outside supermarkets?
Yep.
Because my understanding of the policy is don't touch them at all.
No, but they do, and they can be sued for it. So if a security guard tries to detain you and you tell them to let you go, they have to let you go. They've got no legal powers. So the security guards are in a no-win situation, really. They've got no powers to do anything and they can't do their job.
Do you think they should have powers?
100%.
They should have powers of arrest?
They should have more powers than what they have
What's
now.
the bloody point otherwise?
There is no point at all.
My view is that you're wasting your money. The supermarkets are wasting their money having those guys at the front door. It's just a complete waste of money.
Yeah.
Because they are merely ornamental. It's statue, bro. They're statues.
I've got messages in my inbox where the store managers at supermarkets have told their staff to follow a shoplifter around a shop. Now, that's just antagonising.
To do what?
Exactly. You can't do anything. It's antagonising. It infuriates the person that's doing the shoplifting.
They should be in Wellington lobbying for greater powers, if anything.
They should be. But then the supermarket workers should not be put in that position where they're being told to follow an offender around a shop. It's absolutely ridiculous.
What about the price of milk? Why is it so high?
Oh, why is butter so high?
Yeah, why?
Why? We make it here.
You do make it here, but it's international pricing, isn't it?
Oh, 100%.
So where's the social dividend for this? You say, so we put up with farming, right? What's the social benefit, or where's the benefit to New Zealanders?
Well, they make
high prices?
Well, they make more money offshore, don't they?
Yeah, so it's set at the high price.
Yeah, exactly.
So where's the benefit, though, to the New Zealand consumer of having a world-class farming outfit?
Well, there is no benefit. There's no benefit to the New Zealand consumer at all at the moment. And this is why you're seeing increased shoplifting.
Have you heard this? Fonterra, with their milk production, New Zealanders consume 5% of Fonterra's milk. 5%, 95% goes elsewhere. Given that, you could almost say Fonterra could give it to us for free, forever, and not be affected by the profit margin much at all. 5% of the market's us. 5%. You'd think that would get a bit of deal.
Well, you tell me why the warehouse can sell milk and eggs cheaper than what the supermarkets can. So the warehouse don't have the buying power that the supermarkets do. Yeah. But they can still sell it cheaper.
I think we're on the same page, aren't we?
It's simple greed. It's as simple as that.
Well, what do you put this down? I think maybe we got a bit of our lines crossed, and maybe I think we're on the same page.
Well, I think we're on the same page to a certain point, but
you say that those guys that are stealing to order are arrogant and total pricks, so we're on the same camp there.
Yep, 100%.
I agree with you that there is a huge need, and I can understand why people do it. It's not right, but they do it.
Yep.
And on pricing, well, we're on the same page there. I mean, these guys have got especially during COVID, they're the only ones that had their doors open.
Well, they're the same.
They have screwed people.
Well, hotels, motels, same thing.
Yeah,
they made a killing through COVID.
Well, the Motel Millionaire happened overnight.
A killing.
Yeah,
killing.
Yeah.
So You know, I mean, as I say, my inbox is just full of people. I'm not just talking. I'm talking about everybody: police officers, nurses, firefighters, general public.
I've got some stories about the police. I've got some stories about the police officers today, later on in the show, because I've spent some time on the weekend with a police officer, and boy, if you think it's bad, wait till I tell you the truth.
Yeah.
It is shocking.
Well, I mean, people have said in the comments about food banks, you can go to a food bank. The food banks are struggling too. The food banks cannot keep up.
Yeah.
So the only, I mean, you look at the profits that the supermarkets are making. Look at the salaries that they're getting paid. I mean, I'm going to give you an example.
Well, the salaries aren't that great if you're working on the shop floor.
Well, no, the workers, no.
There's a massive difference.
No, definitely not. I mean, it pisses me off. I mean, Jason Stock, who was the director of stores when they had the rat infestation down in Countdown.
Yeah,
down
and
in
they made the staff to clean it up.
Well, he made him clean it up. They didn't close the store until MPI got involved. And then MPI put the pressure on with me putting pressure on MPI, and they finally closed the store.
Yeah.
Now, they tried to open that store multiple times while it hadn't been.
I don't think you're getting a Christmas card.
I'm not getting any Christmas cards. No, definitely not.
Hey, it's good, nice to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, and keep up good work, and see if we can resolve things.
Oh, you know, it's just a bit of chat, eh?
Yeah, good on you, mate. No, I appreciate your time, and thanks for joining us.
No worries.
Good on you.
Duncan Garner live.
Okay, and we'll take calls as well. I know we've got a call lined up here, and there's also feedbacks just going off the planet. Dave, g'day, mate. Nice to have a chat. You're on, Dave. Let's welcome on. Dave, hi. Hi, Dave.
Duncan.
Yeah, how you going, mate?
Pretty good, mate. I'm a former 2IC for Countdown, and I used to work at a Pack and Save. I have some inside details on the very dodgy shit that Pack and Save gets up to.
Shoot.
I used to talk to the former buyer for Mill Street, and she would brag how she would talk down companies and then push the prices up for the consumers. So they undercut the people that they buy from, and they'll intimidate smaller companies like local New Zealand companies to, charge them more, or charge less for their products, and then they put those prices way above for us. She would brag about how there's a 200% profit margin on baked beans.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Yeah. No, this just confirms what we're thinking and what we know, which is, but we're not. Do we need a third supermarket? Do we need a third chain to come in? Because that might provide competition, or that will provide competition, and then you might have better pricing.
Oh, I fully agree. We need another supermarket. We need to break up the supermarkets. Don't let the two Woolworths combine and push New World out on the south as well.
Yeah, but they own land, and there's another issue as well. Dave, I appreciate it, mate. Good intel. Appreciate your call. Good on you.
Duncan Garner live.
Okay, Tauranga's got a new mayor from the single scull. Round the council table he goes. It's Mahe Drysdale, former champion single sculler, is now the mayor of Tauranga. Brought up in Tauranga, although resides now in Cambridge, although he's heading back to Tauranga. And good on him. It's a big win and a big mandate. Mahe, Kota, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Well done. What's the first thing you want to do?
First thing I want to do is get the team together around the council table, and I guess find some priorities of what we want to achieve together, so we're all sort of headed in the right direction. What's
your main priority? You've been brought up in Tauranga, you know the issues. You're now the new mayor. What's the one thing? What's the first thing that needs to be done apart from getting your team organised? What's the project, or what's the priority? Because there's so many.
Yeah, I think basically what's happened is, this is a fast-growing city and we just haven't kept up. So, traffic and transport, would be, probably the biggest issue I see. But, as I say, there's some, I think, easy fixes there, but, most of it is, that just brings a whole raft of issues and mainly the underlying infrastructure that needs to be upgraded. Yeah, I spent some time in Tauranga this year at some of those commissioner meetings with the public, and what I took away from that, Mahe, man, is there's a real problem with getting into Tauranga, because I spent the last hour and a half of the journey in the last 5Ks trying to get back through the kaimais there and into Tauranga itself. That highway is needed now, but I found out that it's not going to be prioritised until 2050. The people will be dead by then, by 2050. I mean, that's a 26-year wait for a new highway into Tauranga. And for a city that's growing so fast, you can't accept that. Yeah, exactly, and that's our job is to get alongside government, and this is the problem with infrastructure in New Zealand. By the time we build something, it's fairly well outdated. We need the new one. and we've got to actually just start delivering these things rather than thinking and planning and talking about it.
Yeah, but how do you? Yeah, but even that statement alone, we've got to start building these things rather than thinking and planning it. You've got to think and plan before you build something. So, how's that going to work? How will you change? How will you change the current trajectory of Tauranga?
Yeah, I think it's the thing is like you say, there's like, for example, was one example here, Turret Road from Welcome Bay, and that has been thought about, planned for the last 10 years, and nothing's happened. So the plans are there. It's actually now about just taking a plan and delivering it. But you're right. We've got to plan those things out in the future, but we've got to be ahead of the curve. At the moment, we just kick the can down the road until it becomes a big issue, and then we think, how are we going to solve this? This is too hard.
Yeah.
So that's really the shift in mentality, I guess. That we start getting ahead of the curve. I
found myself in Tauranga the other day, went across the mountains and took the kids on the go-karts. The last few days of the go-kart that were in Tauranga there. That Hewlett's Road, I know it's terrible, but it seems to be getting worse. I don't know what the answer is. Have you got one?
Again, there is some answers, and I think it's hard, right? Because you've got New Zealand's biggest port. That's the driver of our economy. We can't just shift that out of the way, but we do. Again, there's things there I think we can do better. It seems illogical to me to have the wharf full of logs when potentially you could train those in and stop all those movements, things like that. But it's just about let's sit around the table with the right people and start making some good decisions and planning for the future.
Have you got? I mean, obviously the commissioners have struck a plan there, and there's all sorts of projects going ahead. Are you fundamentally okay with everything that's been planned and money committed to? Have you got the right team for that as well? Are you got the right people around the table for this plan to carry on?
I think we've got the right people around the table. It's a very wide range of skills, and the main thing is everyone is prepared to work in a team and deliver for the city. The long-term plan, it's a plan. Plans change, so there'll be things that get amended over time. But generally the direction is fine with me, and it's all about catching up on some of that infrastructure. Making the CBD a lot more vibrant. Which again is I've heard a lot. People feel need to be done. Yeah, no, there's a lot to do in the CBD. Hey, Mahe, all the best. Really appreciate you joining us this morning, and go well and good luck. Thanks for having me, and okay. Look forward to getting into it. Good on you, mate. Well done. Cheers.
Duncan Garner, live.
Yeah, lots of feedback coming in. People have said Tauranga is the only place I've been to that has a stoplight in the roundabout, says Dave. And Ronnie says, I think he's going to be an asset to Tauranga, but will he make a difference? Duncan, my food bank's unfriendly. And you're doing a great job in calling the supermarkets out, says Moana. Lots of feedback coming in. Keep it coming in. 0800 863 293 is the number. And also you can leave a comment on YouTube or wherever you're watching this or following this. It's all there on the screen. Get into it.
3 questions from the Editor-in-Chief.
Okay, so at number 1 today, here it is. Did you survive the Big Friday outage? I must admit, I was pretty ho-hum about the whole thing, to be honest, because it was, Friday night. And what on earth could I do about it? What could I do anyway? What will be, and what will get fixed will be fixed. So that all happened, didn't it, in good time? 2 points, though. Why is the world relying on one single provider of this Falcon IT software? And if they go down, we all go down, right? It seems incredibly dumb to me that the entire world relies on one single point of failure, which, as we saw, can fail. Watch out for more scams in the scumbags as they try and enter your system in the next few days. At number 2 today, didn't they fix the Bryn-Derwents? I thought they fixed that section of that highway to the to Northland, the one heading north, yeah. Yeah, they did, and they spent 6 months on it, saying, there we go, it's all fixed, you won't have to worry anymore. The problems are gone, except as soon as it opens, here's a storm and the slip comes again. Northland people have every right to demand something better, a better solution. Without decent access, Northland's economy is stuffed. The tourism, the economy, it dies really quickly. If I was a Northland mayor, I'd be in Wellington this week, lobbying and making sure I could get some answers on this, and I wouldn't leave until I got a decent answer on a plan for an alternative route. The patchwork and the patch-up approach shows us that going cheap isn't the answer. So find a new route and build a state-of-the-art highway through to Northland, through to Whangarei. Without it, Northland dies. And who wants to be in charge of that?
3.
And number 3, this Number 3, this worries me. What's the next big drug battle in New Zealand? I reckon it's this weight loss drug, Ozempic, the wonder drug. Take it suppresses your hunger, and the weight just falls off you. Not yet funded, but once it is, watch the demand just skyrocket. Save going to the gym and running, pop a pill and get skinny. That's what the promise is. It looks remarkable.
Editor-in-Chief live with Duncan Garner.
Okay, it's time to look back on the sporting weekend, actually. And now we normally talk to John Day, but he's away looking after his newborn baby girl. So congratulations to him. And in his place, we've roped in the big boss, MediaWorks News Chief Gary Denver. For your sins, mate, you're here with me.
Yeah.
Hey, there's nothing you can do about it for a few weeks.
Yeah, I must have done something wrong.
Yeah, so what are we kicking off with?
Yeah, well, obviously the big talk, the All Blacks playing Fiji at the weekend, 47-5, they won. And look, you can only play what's in front of you. I don't think Fiji put up anywhere near the contest that they had against England. But having
like
said
a festival
that,
match, didn't it?
It did.
Yeah.
But having said that, you can only, as I say, play what's in front of you, and they did well. The 6 debutants, I thought, had a great day out.
So did I. I was really impressed. They were busy. They got turnovers. They looked really edgy, actually, to me.
Yeah, I was most excited with halfback.
He's
sad to see Cortez go off with the injury, but he had a cracking game.
This Noah
and
Hotham,
Noah Hotham looked right at home. 21 years old, you wouldn't believe it.
I wonder if he's the long-term future. I mean, I know that Roygaard's brilliant.
Yeah.
But we haven't really seen much of him on international stage.
For me, you're looking like, if you're TJ Perenara, who for me shouldn't, well, look, it wasn't a look to the future when they brought him back in. As good a player as he is, obviously they wanted some experience in there. But you've got to be looking over your shoulder if you're Finlay Christie, because you've now got these 3 young guys all going, I'm the man.
And this Noah looks like he likes to snipe around the edges. And
he's
All Black Rugby's missed a sniper, for a while. So I like it too. I like it. And Wallace Satiti.
Satiti, heartache to follow, and you're following Adi Savia, but he looked right at home.
And that's the big news too. Adi Savia signing up with Moana Pacifica, and good on him. I know Adi out of Wellington, and he's a Samoa proud, and
absolutely.
His brothers there. The family is staunchly Samoan, So.
We've talked to Ken Laban, and he says it himself. Adi could have had a lot more money by staying with the Hurricanes. That's a given, because they're a much richer outfit. But he's gone with his heart, gone with his family to show support for his heritage, and I mean that says a lot about the character of the bloke.
I've had mates talk to me all weekend about this, and they're looking at it from a wider perspective, and they reckon that Adi's done this to pull the one-figured salute to New Zealand rugby for overlooking him as the captain of the All Blacks, and so he's gone to say, well, here we go, I'm with these guys now. And I don't know if there's anything to that, but
I think that's
maybe they're thinking too deeply, my mates.
Maybe thinking too deeply.
Doesn't happen often.
Look, I don't know Adi that well, but I'd like to think that this is more to do with his heritage, and it seems to me the Pacifica community hold this guy very highly.
I know, seriously,
and maybe he's just gone, yep, they deserve it.
Yeah. What else we got?
The other things going around, we've obviously got the Olympics coming up. I think we've just talked to Mahe about that. And look, we got 20 medals last time. This time we're going to get half of that, if we're lucky.
Gary's called it on day one.
Absolutely.
10 medals.
You look at our opportunities when you look across the board this time. We've got the usual standout. We've got the sevens, the women's sevens. Men's probably not gold, but they've got to be there and thereabouts for one of the medals maybe. Lisa Carrington, she just keeps on keeping on.
But she's lost the odd race.
She has, but exactly. So she's got to be a good shot. There's a couple in the cycling. Elise Andrews is going awesomely well. Aaron Gate, you can't count him out from anything. And then Erica Fairweather in the pool's a good chance.
So is everyone saying that they think that this will be one of our worst medal hauls? It does get harder.
It's looking a little bit. Oh, absolutely. And what we have to remember, we have high expectations of our athletes, but on the scale of the global money spent on sporting programs, ours is tiny.
It's diddly squat.
Our guys perform despite the fact that they have so much less in terms of resource.
And that's why I rate our victories over the years because of Daniel Loader. I mean, go sit and invest for 4 or 5 minutes of your life and just checking out his victories in the pool. Just astonishing.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff like that.
Swimming is one of the big things. The US and Australia, when you look at their swimming programs and how much money has been spent on them over the years, for our guys to be anywhere near in the hunt shows that they are unbelievable athletes.
I agree with you. Do we have any track and field athletes that could do well?
Yeah, we've got
a sprinter, eh?
well, Tom Walsh is a bit of a chance. Hayden Wild, obviously, in the triathlon, he's a good chance at gold.
Yep.
And then we've got an outsider in Dylan Schmidt on the trampoline.
Right, okay. On the tramp?
Yeah. He's doing really well in the world of trampolining.
Why doesn't Joseph Parker go to the Olympics? This is the thing that worries me. Why doesn't Joseph Parker, or professional boxers, aren't they able to go to the Olympics?
No, it's amateur.
Yeah, well, hang on a second. But Roger Federer, he went to the. I mean,
I know.
Tennis
Weird.
professionals go. I find the whole thing unjustifiable.
Well, personally, I don't think the professionals for tennis and golf and football should be going.
Yeah, I just don't understand.
Because it's not. Well, the Olympics isn't the biggest thing for them. So for a tennis player, do you want to win the 4 Grand Slams or the Olympics? You don't give a toss.
Well, there's
about
no money
the
in the Olympics, but it's the pride of the gold medal. I don't know. There might be something in that.
Well,
we got everything else.
Yeah, I just don't think it has the same gravitas for them.
Yeah. And why don't we play 15s, rugby 15s there?
Yeah, well, sevens is to grow or to get the impact they want because of the sevens being an exciting game. Let's face it, that's what the American audiences like, the short, sharp stuff
they do.
as well.
They played a rugby 15 aside and 20 and 24, 19, 20 and 24.
Yeah. Yeah, and the US were the
US
champions.
Won it. Yeah. The US won the rugby.
Yeah, well, see, that's why sevens cricket. Sevens cricket,
that'd be more interesting than anything
absolutely. No, the shortest version of cricket will be the Olympic sport as well.
Yeah, some stage. Yeah. Warriors lost on Friday. So is that them shot? Is it?
They're not shot, but it's a big ask from here.
Maybe next year.
They just keep shooting themselves in the foot. That 2018 loss to the Raiders should never have happened.
I know.
They couldn't kick
2
off the
points
team.
And I thought they had to win everything from here. They're now 14th on the ladder, aren't they?
Yeah. They needed a lot of luck to make the 8 from here.
Yeah. And you spent a weekend watching the Northern Mystics?
I didn't. I actually spent a weekend, to be honest, watching the golf.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a golf tragic.
Yeah,
so
that's good,
Xander Schauffele winning it this morning by 2 shots. It's his second major. But great to see the Kiwis. So you had Daniel Hillier made a good account of himself.
Yeah.
He's finished 19th. I think it was share of 19th. Long way back, but
so you get a bit of dough,
top 20, that's good going.
Money for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Foxy, I think he's improved on his rankings for money on the USPGA Tour with a tied for 25th. So they're going good.
Gary, this is the first day, and you'll be invited back on Friday.
Right,
you're amazing. Okay? Good on you, mate. Appreciate it. Cheers.
Duncan Garner, live.
Yeah, Duncan, drag out the Olympic Games. Yawn. How many people care about it anymore? How many people care? Well, what about the Commonwealth Games? Who cares about that? Duncan, counting Olympic medals in advance is fraught with peril. Oh, God, yes, isn't it? The whole thing is. So much feedback coming in here. Duncan, Tauranga is an infrastructure nightmare. It won't be fixed for years and years. How come it's going to take 26 years to build a decent road into Tauranga? Why is that suddenly going to be acceptable? It shouldn't be. 26 years to get a highway into Tauranga. For the next 26 years, you will crawl in there. You just crawl in there. It'll take an hour and a half to crawl in. It's hopeless. It's actually bloody useless. And that's the problem with our infrastructure. It's just too slow.
It's the Slam Dunk.
Okay, so over the weekend I spent some time with a senior police officer who is stationed in South Auckland, but I won't name them or say what line of policing they're in because it may well identify them and they don't want that. I've known this officer for about 9 years, and they have always been rather guarded about what they said to me. And they were always loyal to the hierarchy of the New Zealand Police Force. They're always loyal to the police force. But that abruptly ended when we caught up this past weekend. This officer opened up on the bosses. Whew! And what is happening at the street level in the New Zealand Police, like I've never heard before. I've never witnessed this before. This officer said morale is at an all-time low in the force due to under-resourcing, the level of pay, and the fact is that they are no longer turning up to even the most serious of 111 calls. They can't get there. Sometimes they said it can take 3 days to turn up to a serious family harm event. 3 days. So that means that the victim and the quote alleged abuser are in the house for that time. 3 days. Some incidents are not even investigated at all, they said. This should worry those in South Auckland, what this person told me, because the Counties Manukau region is now, quote, 80 police officers short because of this decision to put more staff on in the Auckland CBD. They've simply transferred them from South Auckland. It's weakened South Auckland's numbers to strengthen the CBD numbers. 80 officers short is what I was told. This is the directive from the new government, going there to the CBD. Government should stay out of operational matters, as they usually have no idea what they're talking about. And now South Auckland is seriously short and exposed. As a result, they're not turning up to even the most serious of call-outs. And sometimes it takes 3 days to get to a family harm incident. They simply have so few staff that they can no longer do the job properly at all. And New Zealanders have just no idea how lean or how thin the blue line really is. This officer told to me you basically have to convince the police dispatcher on the line that you're being attacked during the making of the call, the 111 call, to get some action and get some response. Just say there's a gun involved, you'll probably get some action. The police officer I spoke to says they do not feel backed up, and as a result, they're no longer taking risks with their policing, and criminals know this, and they're getting away with all sorts of things now. Police have confirmed to me that they don't show up to reports of stolen goods at supermarkets. We've known that for some time. And security guards can't hold or retain them. So it's a free-for-all. This officer told me, described it as a free-for-all in South Auckland supermarkets. And they're disillusioned with policing, and the more cops are leaving us on to head to Australia. The inquiries are made daily from New Zealand cops, I'm told, to the Aussies about when they can start. Almost 400 cops left last year. But the bosses here don't keep records, they say. What a load of horseshit. That's garbage. I've also been told about policing in the regions, and my source can't find anyone who's willing to stop a gang member and take their patch off them for the mere sake of being on 72 grand. They said the gangs are now way bigger than the police force combined, and they can't compete. They're outnumbered. I've also been told about one sole charge cop in a central North Island town who now sleeps with their gun under their pillow for their own safety. My God, that is really serious.
It's the Slam Dunk.
It really is. Okay, so feedback's still coming in. It's pretty good feedback. Kato, do we want to talk? Did you want to talk about the All Blacks? Because you're a rugby ref, were you impressed or not? It's a itsy-bitsy game, wasn't it?
I didn't watch it.
Yes, didn't you?
No, I was
My God.
I was ARing the North Harbour Club final.
Who won?
North Shore won, 20-15. Felt sorry for Takapuna, though, because they left about 12 points on the field through the boot. And one of the things you barely ever see in rugby is a charge down conversion, and we saw that on the weekend.
Oh, really? Did you?
Yeah.
So Takapuna are unlucky. That's my club.
Yeah. They had a lot of possession and just, yeah. But to North Shore's credit, great defence.
And a good referee, apparently.
Well, he was.
And good AR.
Yeah, great AR as well. But no, the All Blacks were good. I think I didn't expect it to be such a blowout. Yeah. I would have thought the Fijians would have.
Don't think Fiji took it that seriously.
I don't think anyone did.
No.
To be fair, though, it is hard with those island nations and getting the European
guys back.
Players back.
Wasn't their top side, was it?
Tonga lost to Spain on the weekend, which I think was the biggest shock in Tonga.
But Australia struggled with Georgia.
Oh, Australia struggles with everyone.
They're in a dire
first
state.
time in 9 years they've won the first 3 tests of the year.
Wow. Yes. Who us? Well,
no, the Wallabies.
Oh wow. Okay. Duncan, 400 cops left in 1 year. And now they want to get 500 in the next 2 years. It's not going to happen. That's right, Dave. That's what I'm saying. The outage on Friday, I didn't take that seriously. It was Friday night, so I knew someone had sorted it out somewhere. Forrester, you were in here till 1 a.m.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What were you doing?
Fixing stuff, really. All of our servers went down. So we had to, go and fix all those. But the major issue is that when they went down, it wasn't just that some software bugged out. It was that they actually crashed the computers, so we didn't have remote access to any of them.
Wow. So we're all back on deck here? Is it
Yep.
fair to say?
Yep. No, we got it back relatively quickly, I'd like to think. But in the regions, you got to send people out, and of course, 27 regions. Good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly. That's how much coverage we have here at MediaWorks. It's huge. The other thing is the single point. I know nothing about technology. I just come in here and talk. But that technology out of America, I can't believe there's a single point of failure. If that fails, the world fails. It's unbelievable.
Well, yeah. So one thing went down when it happened, and my mate had his computer on, and that went down, and he's like, "Oh well. Do you think it's related?" And I was like, "Oh, stop taking the piss, mate. Of course it's not related. Your computer has nothing to do with the radio station." And then, of course, it is related. It's the one system that connects it all. It's the security. So it's pretty bad. They're a firm out of Texas, and they used to do all the cleanup for cybersecurity attacks on companies.
Wow, you need some time off in lieu. You need a day off in lieu.
No, they brought us pizza. That's good.
Oh, that's good. Hey, have you seen this? Have you seen the feedback? Chick in the middle is smoking hot. From Troy?
on the YouTube comments.
Yeah.
All right.
Who's that?
Well, I don't want to go to HR so early on in this podcast series.
I think you should move on.
Yeah, I'm going to move on. Miranda, what I mean? Are we? Move on. That is us, folks. This will be available as a podcast very shortly as Kayla will go and do his thing. You can get it on Rover shortly or wherever you get your podcast. Thanks for your feedback and your support. I'm Duncan at rover.nz. Flick us all your ideas and any feedback to my team, Caleb, Smoking Hot, Forrester and Zarina. Thank you, guys. We'll do it all again tomorrow. Remember, life isn't a dress rehearsal. This is the one. There's no curtain raiser, so get out and enjoy it. Take care. All the best.
That was Duncan Garner, Editor-in-Chief Live. Missed something on the live stream? Text Duncan to 3598 to listen back on the podcast. Want to get in touch? Call 0800 863 293.